problem child. Jake Paul signs with the Professional Fighters League, that's the PFL, and he releases a video promoting his signing, so to speak, with a call out of the kid from Stockton. Later I realized that Nate Diaz had no knowledge of this call out, but in said call out, he says he challenges Nate Diaz to 2 fights. One being in boxing, of course, and one being in the smart cage at the PFL in the sport of mixed martial arts. Afterwards, well, I don't know if it was immediately afterwards, but Nate Diaz tweets a picture of Ryzen. Yeah, the Asian promotion that promotes, fights on New Year's Eve, and they have pretty good fights with their Pride-esque crowd and atmosphere. Be great for Nate Diaz. Ryzen has paid for Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. They can definitely afford Nathan Diaz. So, Dr. Matt, do you see Nate Diaz taking Jake Paul's bait and playing Jake Paul's game, or does he do what he always does, and that being his own thing?
I don't think he's going to play Jake Paul's game because he wouldn't even play Dana White's game back in the day. And even if he did, I feel like he'll spank Jake Paul both back to back.
That could
What weight class is Jake Paul going to fight at?
Who knows? But I don't think it'll be a weight class where he's cutting a lot of weight. Doesn't seem like something he's really interested in doing. I think more so and I'm not trying to throw slight at Jake Paul. I'm just calling it for what it is, because he's largely fought a lot smaller men or a lot older men, or both, or combination of both. I mean, he's been boxing for how long now, with how many fights, and how many real boxers has he fought? 0. So why would we feel like he's going to go over to the PFL and not do the same? Why would we feel like that? He's still trying to set up boxing matches. He said Tommy Fury. It's not happening. He said KSI. That's not happening. That's not a boxer. And Tommy Fury, if you want to call him a boxer, you can. I mean, he's fought boxers, but he's also fought not boxers. So it's all weird. But my point is that Jake Paul coming over to the PFL is definitely going to bring eyeballs. It's definitely going to create buzz. That's, if you think otherwise, you're lying to yourself. So he's definitely going to create buzz. Who does he fight, though? It doesn't make sense for him to fight a no-name prospect coming up in the ranks of the PFL. Does it make sense for him to fight a Anthony Showtime Pettis, whom fought the majority of his career at 155 pounds? I say this because I put this into perspective. People don't realize that these guys like Woodley, Askren, 170 pounds. Look how small Nate Robinson was. If I got respect for anybody that, as far as size goes, it's KSI. He got in there, a smaller guy, and defeated Jake's brother in Logan. Lest we forget. But Matt, I've been doing rambling. So I'm going to throw it to you with this question. Who does Jake Paul fight in the PFL? Because we've already said we don't think it's going to be Nate. That fight sells. Everybody was talking about Nate getting released, Nate fighting Jake Paul in a boxing match. So we know that there's an audience for that. We know that. I don't think there will be an audience for a potential MMA fight, but we don't see Nate Diaz signing with the PFL. So who does he fight? Does he fight?
I'd like to see him fight Anthony Pettis in an MMA fight.
You really think that? I know there'd be a size discrepancy. How do you see that fight going?
I feel like when they hit the ground, Jake could be screaming and tapping all over the place. But I can't take nothing away from the guy. He's got some power now, but he would have to eat some shit from Anthony Pettis to get in and hit him there. And we all know Anthony Pettis puts you out any second.
The PFL is taking Bellator's playbook. Bellator, when the Bjorn Rebney Bellator playbook, where they had tournament, and then they started getting some notable fighters that didn't want to go to the tournament, so they're like, oh, this is our superstar division, the guys that are excluded from the tournaments, our pay-per-view fighters, if you will, something like that, whatever. So Bellator is doing that by bringing Jake Paul in. Obviously, Jake Paul ain't competing in no damn tournament. So they're going to get 50-50 on the pay-per-view shares and whatnot. And they're trying to draw in some big names like a Francis Ngannou or other, some whatever free agents they can get their hands on, I'm sure, that can generate buzz. Do you see Jake Paul potentially fighting CM Punk?
I wouldn't doubt it if he took that fight. I would not doubt that one bit. That's right up his alley. Go on ahead and fight CM Punk, ex-UFC guy. Make yourself feel better.
Really, outside of, like I said, Jake Paul's been boxing for how long? Never faced a real boxer. I'm not going to see him I don't see him going into MMA facing real mixed martial artists. I think it's more of the same. I don't see him getting in there with an Anthony Showtime Pettis, even though he would outweigh Anthony Showtime Pettis tremendously. And I'm talking about, Anthony Showtime Pettis at his peak optimum, weight, and which is 155 pounds. He did all right at 170, but which is still well below where Jake Paul competes. But let's not kid ourselves. Size be damned. Anthony Showtime Pettis submitted Benson Henderson off of his back. So I don't care about Jake Paul's wrestling experience if he's even able to take Anthony Showtime Pettis down jiu-jitsu wise. I feel like he would be, drowning in the ocean. And on the feet, those kicks are crazy. They're crazy. And I seen a video of Jake Paul kicking, and it looked like it was his first time doing it ever. Maybe it was, but yeah, Matt, I leave it to you. Go ahead and get us out of here with this whole Jake Paul to the PFL talk.
I don't know, bro. I think you're right though. Maybe if CM Punk's there, it's gonna be somebody that has a little bit of a following. It's going to be somebody who don't have a real record yet or haven't fought anybody real because we're talking about fake Paul.
Right.
So I think we'll just have to wait and see what the fake future holds.
Indeed. Guys, Jake Paul's in the PFL now. Does he fight? Who does he fight? We're all going to have to wait and see. And I'll be here to cover it.